Right now, some people are quietly getting an extra $500, $800, and even $1,200 each month through programs most Americans have never heard of. And while grocery prices keep rising, rent keeps climbing, insurance costs keep edging upward, and seniors everywhere are trying to stretch fixed incomes farther than ever before, brand new guaranteed income programs are opening across the country in 2026 with surprisingly broad eligibility. Some are aimed directly at older adults, some are helping people who have lost jobs, others are designed for struggling households, caregivers, or families facing overwhelming expenses. But here is the part many people do not understand. A lot of these programs do not require you to use the money in any specific way. In several cases, the funds are completely unrestricted, which means, if you qualify, the money is yours to spend on groceries, utilities, transportation, medical costs, rent, or whatever else is creating the most pressure in your life right now. And the opportunities are changing quickly. Some programs are already taking applications. Some are expanding into new cities this summer. One Illinois program is moving so rapidly that recipients are expected to be chosen within weeks. Another major county just announced that it is making guaranteed income permanent instead of temporary, which could completely change how these programs work going forward. There are also new pilot programs being created specifically for seniors over 60. And some experts think this may only be the start of a much bigger national change. So today we are breaking down the biggest guaranteed income programs currently open, launching soon, or expected to expand in 2026. Including who may qualify, how much they pay, where they are available, and what you need to know before applying, because some of these deadlines are arriving much faster than people realize. I have spent a great deal of time going through state announcements, nonprofit pilot programs, county updates, and official application pages to gather the most important guaranteed income opportunities that are either active right now or preparing to launch very soon. And honestly, I found far more programs than I expected. A lot of people hear the phrase guaranteed income and assume it sounds complicated or too good to be true. But in simple terms, these are programs that provide direct cash payments to qualifying participants for a set period of time. Sometimes it is $500 a month for 6 months. Sometimes it is $1,000 a month for a year or longer. In many cases, there are no limits on how the money is spent, which is exactly why these programs have become such an important lifeline for people dealing with rising living costs. Now, not every program we discuss today will apply to every viewer, so if the first one is not a match for your situation, keep watching, because this list includes opportunities for seniors, unemployed workers, pregnant mothers, struggling families, and even people whose careers have been affected by artificial intelligence. And that first program we are about to cover is one of the most unusual and important guaranteed income pilots I have seen so far, because it was created specifically for workers who say AI changed their livelihoods almost overnight. Over the past couple of years, a growing number of workers have started realizing something they never expected to face in their lifetime. Entire careers are beginning to disappear almost overnight because of artificial intelligence. And for many people, this is not some distant future concern anymore. It is happening right now. Companies are automating customer service departments, replacing content teams, reducing administrative staff, cutting freelance contracts, and reorganizing positions that once felt stable and secure. Some workers are finding themselves competing against software they never even saw coming. And that is exactly why one of the newest guaranteed income programs in the country is drawing so much attention right now. It is called the AI Dividend Program, and unlike most financial assistance programs, this one was built specifically for people whose jobs, income, or career opportunities have been negatively affected by artificial intelligence. The program is run through nonprofit organizations, including the Commons Project and What We Will. And what makes this especially interesting is that impacted workers themselves helped shape the program's design. In other words, this was not created by people guessing what displaced workers might need. It was built around real experiences from people who suddenly found themselves trying to adjust after AI changed their industries faster than expected. The financial support itself can be significant. Eligible participants may receive up to $1,000 per month for somewhere between 6 and 12 months, depending on how their participation is structured. But the monthly payments are only part of what is offered. The program also includes career coaching, job transition assistance, retraining opportunities, legal resources in some situations, and education designed to help participants build new skills, including learning how to work alongside AI tools instead of being replaced by them. And that is becoming increasingly important because many industries are changing whether workers are ready or not. One former copywriter described losing an entire department after their employer shifted heavily toward AI-generated content, saying the job they spent more than a decade building simply disappeared. Stories like that are becoming more common, which is exactly why programs like this are getting so much national attention right now. Now, the application process itself is fairly simple. If you believe your income or employment has been affected by artificial intelligence, you can visit mydividend.ai, where there is an application portal with additional eligibility details and information about the support services available. And even if this does not apply directly to you, there is a good chance you know someone who may benefit from hearing about it. Because AI-related displacement is affecting far more workers than many people realize. We are still in the very early stages of seeing how these changes will affect the workforce long-term. But programs like this suggest that organizations are already preparing for much larger disruptions ahead. And if you have noticed changes happening in your own industry, or you have seen jobs becoming harder to find lately, I would genuinely love to hear what is happening in your area. Because these programs are expanding so quickly that local experiences are becoming incredibly important to track. Now, while that first program focused on workers and career disruption, the next one takes a completely different approach, and it has become one of the most talked about guaranteed income programs in the country, because it starts helping families before a baby is even born. This program is called RX Kids, and it is operating in parts of Michigan as what officials describe as the nation's first community-wide prenatal and infant cash prescription program. And when you hear the payment structure, it is easy to understand why so many people are paying attention to it. Eligible participants can receive a one-time payment of $1,500 during pregnancy, followed by $500 per month after the baby is born. Depending on the participating community, those monthly payments may continue for 6 months or even longer. And one of the biggest reasons this program stands out is that the money is unrestricted. Families are allowed to use it however they need, whether that means diapers, rent, groceries, transportation, utility bills, or emergency expenses that often pile up during pregnancy and early parenthood. Eligibility does depend heavily on where you live, because the program is currently limited to participating Michigan communities. Applicants generally need to meet one of two main requirements. Either they must be at least 16 weeks pregnant, or they must have legal guardianship of a qualifying infant born after the program launched in their area. In many cases, parents can still apply until the child reaches 6 months old. Applicants should also expect to verify their identity and residency during the process. Now, one of the most important details here is that additional Michigan communities are expected to be announced during summer 2026, which means some viewers who are not eligible right now could become eligible later this year if expansion plans move forward as expected. That is why it is extremely important to keep monitoring updates even if your city or county is not included yet. The application itself can be completed online through rxkids.org, where participants can review community eligibility lists, payment structures, timelines, and required documentation. Disclaimer: this content is for informational purposes only, and program availability or eligibility may change over time.